Hello, welcome to my channel again. I don't think anybody's in here yet. I don't know if anybody's gonna come in here, but this is my stream, my Ask Me Anything stream. Um, Again, I don't have anything planned. Uh, we could talk about comics, and video games, movies, or personal stuff if you want to know. Uh, and Yeah, that's about it. I suppose since it's me, myself, and I here for now, um, I'll go over some of my favorite comics, um, or comic runs, I should be specific. Uh, so, one of my favorite superheroes was Spider Man. You could probably see right there an example of that person, Spider-Man, Peter Parker, not Miles Morales. And I've been a fan of Spider-Man since I was a wee child, since I was a small boy, um, living in my home in the Pacific Northwest. And yeah, I've just always liked it. You know, he's an everyman, and Um, he has an odd power set, and he uses them the best he can. And he's not rich, and I did not grow up rich, and it's and he still did great things for the world. So I like Spider-Man. This has got a cool power set. I mean, to be able to be warned of danger at mostly any time. That's That's an impressive power. Yeah. Well, one of my favorite runs of Spider-Man was actually the Clone Saga, which many people dislike, but I actually liked it. I found out that uh, they were planning on going in one direction with Spider-Man, the Clone Saga, but they they decided not to go in that direction, and there was some infighting within Marvel about where it should be going, the direction of the book. And at that time, they wanted to compete with, I believe, the Death of Superman. So DC was doing its universe-spanning story, or its multi-issue saga, and Marvel wanted to have its own multi-issue saga, which would draw readership and attention back to Marvel. And so they did that. Um, and I just really enjoyed it. I love the characters. I'm still a fan of Ben Riley, Scarlet Spider, or alternate Spider-Man. And yeah, other than that, I also liked the Uh, I also liked the Moon Knight series. I think it was the Marvel Knights Moon Knight series, which was um, very graphic. It did have a lot of graphic violence in it. Moon Knight is kind of Marvel's Batman in that he does have powers. He had at least when I started reading him in that series, and I really dug the character. He is a millionaire, billionaire, 100 millionaire, billionaire, something like that, um, who goes to Egypt, I believe, and then he gets granted powers, possibly goes into a state of psychosis, but he gets these abilities where during certain during the phases of the moon, his strength, agility, speed, and things increase and decrease. So when there is no moon present, when the moon is completely obscured, he does not have any abilities. It's a man who's physically fit running around doing combat. And so he has gear and these little moon discs that he throws out, kind of like batarangs. Hey, Mark's Music Obsession, what's up? How you doing? I'm talking about Moon Knight right now. Yeah, just because I thought, since I figured I'd talk about some of my favorite comics. But Moon Knight has these little discs that are kind of like batarangs, and he throws them at people. Sometimes uses them as like a set of brass knuckles or spikes, and he punches people and digs them into people. So it's pretty intense, pretty gory. But yeah, so if it's a full moon, he actually has greatly increased speed, strength. I think he can lift up to like a ton when there's a full moon, and but when there's a decrease of the amount of moon that is apparent, he actually loses more and more of his powers. Again, until there's no more moon and he's a regular guy with tech and battle stuff, battle things, with weaponry and like grappling hooks and stuff like that, stuff that enables him to fight crime. And yeah, another series that I like. By the way, if you have any questions for me, Mark, any questions about myself or anything I'm interested or whatever, then you're welcome to ask. I don't have a plan for this, so I'm just talking about geeky stuff. Another series that I liked with Spider-Man was Dan Slott's series, or Dan Slott's run on Spider-Man. Hey, Paul Sarts, what's up? How you doing? Here we go. And there's Mark. There's Paul Sarts. What's happening? I'm just talking about some favorite comic book runs that I've had, as far as just favorite comic book runs that I've had throughout my life. Another one that I really like, so Dan Slott, he did a run on Spider-Man. He did the Superior Spider-Man run. Sorry, getting an example. So he did the Superior Spider-Man run, which I particularly hated. I did not like it. It was it involved Spider-Man getting defeated by Dr. Octopus. Dan Slott believed that I like the Kramer. Thank you. He likes you back. Say hello, Kramer. Did you hear him? If you did, you're crazy. But that's not far off from Kramer, anyways. Yeah, I like the Kramer too. It's a gift from my brother and my dad. For me, he's unnerving, and it keeps me company in my apartment while I have him around. But Superior Spider-Man, Dan Slott thought that Dr. Octopus, since he's been around Spider-Man so long, there's so many big stories that Dr. Octopus is front stage with, and that have great implications for the character, for the story of Spider-Man. He thought that Dr. Octopus was kind of like the big bad. He was the one who was I'm sorry I'm so pale here. I am pale, but sorry that it's so washed out. Anyways, so he Dr. Octopus has been around, and Dan Slott thought that he was the arch nemesis of Spider-Man, Peter Parker. I didn't, but anyways, in Superior Spider-Man, yes, exactly. Yes, he is a loathsome brute, yet I can't look away. I love him. Anyways, that is a quote from Seinfeld. So in Superior Spider-Man, Peter Parker Spider-Man is defeated by Otto Octavius, Dr. Octopus, and Dr. Octopus had developed cancer, and what happens is he actually gains access to Peter Parker's mind, and he transferred his mind into Peter Parker's mind and Spider-Man's mind, and then Peter Parker's mind into his mind. And so Spider-Man, Peter Parker had access to all of the memories of Dr. Octopus in his body, and um, Dr. Octopus had access to the full memories, suite of memories that Peter Parker had. And Peter Parker tries to gain control of his body again. He tries to gain access to his body again, but he's unable to. And Peter Parker in Dr. Octopus's body dies. And Dr. Octopus goes around in his body, and he is known as in this run, it's the Superior Spider-Man, where he's more brutal. He kills people, which I think there's an argument to be made that Spider-Man should kill some of the worst baddies that have killed like many people, serial killers, basically. I'm okay with lethal force if it's required. It'll prevent the loss of many lives, innocent lives. That's fine with me. Anyways, so he goes around and he destroys some relationships with some people who knew Peter Parker in his life, and he also helps develop. He gets a business going in Peter Parker's name, and he develops him professionally, career-wise, and yeah, he just goes on. Peter Parker eventually comes back in issue #1 of Amazing Spider-Man, which I was very happy about. Sorry, I'm getting examples for the class. Peter Parker eventually makes it back to the body. He reasserts control. There is a vestige of his consciousness or soul within the body of Peter Parker, even though in the Superior Spider-Man story, it does show that Peter Parker actually meets with Uncle Ben, and Uncle Ben's like, hey, welcome, or something like that. I forgive you. Whatever. I forget. But which doesn't really make sense. Hello, General Piggy, sir. Hola. Salutations indeed. Salutations. Apologies all around. So that's a reference from Arrested Development. That's Bluth Senior talking to the dolls, like they're alive. Anyways, so Peter Parker regains control of the body eventually after Dr. Otto Octavius goes back to another dimension, which is Spider-Man 2099's dimension, and he takes up the role as Spider-Man in that dimension for apparently years. But anyways, and then he comes back. But once he comes back, Peter Parker reasserts control, and the Amazing Spider-Man run, the series, the title, actually picks back up again with a #1 issue with Peter Parker coming back, which I got signed by Dan Slott as a gift from my sister, and got signed by Dan Slott, the writer. And this book is also done by Humberto Ramos, one of my favorite artists to work on Spider-Man, one of my favorite artists. That's right. Where are you? Where's the signature? I think it's here. So you can't really make it out. But then I also got it signed by Stan the Man Lee, which I'm really proud about. So I got, even though Stan Lee didn't write this one personally, which I regret because he's not around anymore. But I did get it signed by him, and it's kind of reasserting that that Stan Lee, his character, won out, even though Peter Parker won out, even though um, uh, Dan Slott wrote that Otto Octavius took over his body. So that's it. Anyways, I'm really happy with that one. So those are some of my favorite issues. You guys got any questions for me? Mark, General Piggy, Paulus Arts, and I see somebody else in here. I don't know who you are, but hello. Welcome. My name is Cranberry Landers, as far as you know. Yeah, I just want to talk about comics, geeky stuff. Another series that I liked was during the New 52 from DC Comics. I actually disliked most of the New 52 series by DC Comics. They wanted to go in a different direction because they felt that I think some of their characters and stories, their universe was a little bit old school, and maybe new readership would be interested if things were a little bit more jazzed up. I think you can. I think you can. Oh, Cranberry Landers, yeah, it is. So, so they thought that they were looking at their books and they thought they were a little outdated. So they wanted to freshen them up for new readership, get people excited for DC Comics again. And I think like Jeff Johns thought, don't talk about New 52 Lobo. Oh no. No, I can't talk about New 52 Lobo. That is horrible. Hey Phil, what's going on? How you doing? I have your book here. What happened? I killed my connection died. Anyways, New 52 Lobo was horrendous. Garbage. I was one of the people who was doing like the protest or whatever. They had like a petition or something. And I was like, no, you're not doing this. And I know what you're going to do. You're going to go, oh, yeah, we're going to show you original Lobo. We're going to call him something else or whatever. And we're going to placate our audience. And then once they forget or once they get used to this one, we're going to then go into the other. And oh, yeah, now it's actually Lobo. So we're just going to get you guys used to it. And then finally, we'll actually still bring it back to the new one. I was like, no, for sure, no. You got to bring back Lobo. I don't even care that he's from an older time. I don't even give a crap that he's got old aesthetics, rock star, biker stuff. I don't give a crap. He was awesome. He's flaming awesome. He's perfect. Yo, Rocky Ballesteros. Yo, Cranberry, I'm literally jumping on a plane, but saw you live and had to say hello. What's up, MMO, General Piggy, Paulus Arts, J Comics. Have a great stream. Donka Shane, Rocky Ballesteros. You shouldn't jump on your plane. You should get inside the plane, then you'll be safe. It's better to be in the plane once it takes off. You're welcome. I just thought I would inform you of that. I know that didn't occur to you. I'm just I really am concerned for you, and that is the safest mode of travel with a plane, within the plane itself. You're welcome. Okay, anyway, so I disliked most of New 52 except for Animal Man. I thought it was like oh, he's throwing up the horns. Or the devil horns, or just the horns. I forget what the other alternate one is. So New 52, I didn't like it. I mean, in general, I didn't like it. Although the red form of Beast Boy was actually pretty awesome. Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, he did. Yeah. Rocky skipped out. He skipped out on it. No excuse. I haven't heard an excuse from Rocky yet. No update or anything. He just decided not to do a stream that day. You heard Animal Man is the best. Oh, It is. It is the best out of the New 52. This is the second. I have the second two issues, but I bought the run. I bought at least the first two issues 3 times, I think, and twice as a gift, and or I bought them for myself and then I gifted them away because it was just so awesome. It's kind of like DC's version of Spider-Man. Not the same power set, but um, the realistic life interactions from the characters, and he is like a low tier, he's like a B, no, not B, it's like a D E tier character, like superhero, but it was done in a really good way. Like Spider-Man isn't the top, he isn't the strongest, he isn't the oh, okay, oh, he went to a clothes shop, oh, okay, so he's making excuses. All right, so Rocky's trying to garner some sympathy why he didn't do a video. I see what it is. Okay, anyway, so um, Animal Man is great. Yeah, I recommend, especially the first two issues, and they cost a lot online. If you're getting a first, if you're getting a first, if you're getting the first two issues or whatever, I think they still cost quite a bit because it's such a good run. It's so great. But I loved it. It was like reality. Like DC Comics is more icons that represent like huge things. Like Batman represents something, Superman represents something, but Marvel Comics is more. It's more. DC Comics usually comes at it from the image, the icon, the god coming into the person, and you see them play out in real life. And Marvel Comics is you're looking at the person and you see them take on the position or become the superhero and how that occurs, what kind of dynamics you have there. And that's why I usually preferred Marvel to DC. But yeah, I really highly recommend the Animal Man series. So yeah, I'm gonna put this away. Another good series I liked from New 52. It's Catwoman. It's great. There's a couple really good reasons that. And my screen died again. Anyways, so it's really good. I love the art. It's dynamic. It shows life of Catwoman as a person, Selena Kyle, and it also has intense action. It's great. She's kind of a that's great. Yeah. This aid, Rocky's bringing up that he did an interview with Adam a bit ago, and yeah, and Phil and Brandon are in cooperation with them working on a book, a joint venture together, and maybe more. So cool. Is Crimstone more of a Marvel or a DC character? I'd say Marvel. I'd say he's Marvel, and I really enjoy Crimstone, so it's really a great one. um, yeah, so I really enjoyed your Lost Pages books. They're great, great stuff. But again, I don't really go for DC. I although thinking back as a kid, I did actually find that I am finding that I actually enjoyed quite a bit of DC anyways. I like the Atom, Shazam, Superman, especially Red and Blue, Superman Red and Blue. People don't like it. People don't like Red and Blue um, as much as they don't like the Spider-Man Clone Saga, which I liked. I like both of them. But yeah, that one and Grayson was actually another one. So Dick Grayson, the original Ward, and adopted son of Bruce Wayne, Batman. The Grayson actually really showcases Grayson really showcases Dick Grayson's skills, because he does fight with superpowered villains on a regular basis. He is a human, but he has the intelligence and he has the planning ability to take out all these supervillains that could kill him in like a second, but he and Batman are able to take him out like no worries. I mean, there is some struggle there, but enough to keep it interesting. But he goes into he joins I think it's Spiral, a super spy agency, and he's kind of like that series is kind of him in a James Bondish kind of scenario, or he's kind of a James Bondish character in that. The other thing I liked is that that's right. Well, it's Ask Me Anything. You can ask me almost anything, and I'll answer. I'll try to answer them relatively honestly. Honestly, I'll try to answer honestly. Unless I don't want to tell you something, and then I will tell you. It is one of my most successful streams. When I wasn't working with when I wasn't doing streams with 80s Made Consumer, Odin Dasco, James from Broken Compass Comics. Yeah, when I wasn't doing it with them, this is the most successful on my channel. Yeah, so he showcases his strengths, his acrobatics, his ability to fight as a super spy. So it's really cool. I had that Kramer panting on a t-shirt. That's awesome. Happy pre-birthday or birthday, KSSS. This is yeah, that's a gift. That's a birthday gift, I believe, from my brother and my dad. He is unnerving, but he also gives me comfort, which you would want from Kramer, you know? Something that you would like from Kramer. Just a little bit of it. You're welcome. You're welcome. Here. Pop. You're welcome. Happy birthday. Anyways, so I really like the Grayson series. So it'd be Animal Man, Grayson, and I think New 52 was when Maverick from Image Comics, I believe it's Image Comics, when it got bought and turned into a DC property, I believe the license or the got turned into DC. So they started doing Maverick. Also, Red Hood was also great. So I liked a solid amount of New 52 stories. So it'd be Red Hood, Grayson, Catwoman, and Animal Man, which is a favorite. I mean, I still recommend Animal Man to anybody and everybody who's interested. Oh, look at that. Give you cake. A very low calorie cake, which is important. Saving on that. It's looking after your health. Court of Owls. I hated Court of Owls. Everybody loves Court of Owls. And I know you like Court of Owls. I hate Court of Owls. I hated it. Batman's supposed to always win. And if he is Batman, he's been doing this for like 20 years, 40 years, whatever. I mean, in the comics, he would have run across something that would have been Court of Owls related. Doesn't make sense. Although the Talons looked awesome. They were designed really well. And I love the Talons. It's great. Yeah. You didn't care for Court of Owls? Hey, Ellie, new Dungeoneer. What's up? Yeah, I hated Court of Owls. It showed weakness in Batman, and like he got into a mental state, like a mind state, where he actually felt like giving up. And I don't think that would have happened. He literally broke his back. Bane literally broke his back. I mean, he's been dead or almost dead multiple times, and and then he gets dejected. He feels, you know, like he has no hope in Court of Owls. No, forget that. No, I do not believe that. I think that is a disservice to the character, the legend of Batman. I think he's more. By the way, I do think there was a JLA book. I do think that Batman has powers. So he is supposed to be the apex human. Like he is supposed to be the top capability. All the world's weightlifters, like all the heavy weightlifters or whatever, who do like Guinness Book of World Records lifts and stuff, he's supposed to be above them in strength. Everybody. He's supposed to be above everybody, peak. And they don't do him like that, except in Hush. I saw that they were doing him justice in Hush, and that's again one of my favorite stories. And I think it's one of the favorites of Phil's too, if I recall. And I bought it for my brother, actually, one of my brothers. I was like, "You gotta have this. It is a great story. It's a classic now, and it is listed, I believe, as a classic from DC Comics, and it's treated as that by DC, and I view it as that. So it's a great book. So if anybody has not purchased or read Hush, I recommend it. Yeah, yeah, I would think so. Plus, he's dealt with like Ra's al Ghul. He's dealt with like coming back to life before. He was in one of the pits, the Lazarus pits. He comes out of Lazarus pits, and he's literally crazy. And then he goes from literally crazy to coming back to stasis, to a normal mind state. I think he's pretty good. I mean, and even in Batman R.I.P. even in Batman R.I.P., he was like he had the Batman of Zur-En-Arrh, which was a backup program Batman, which was designed to get Batman Bruce Wayne out of emergency situations if he was disabled, or the Bruce Wayne programming that personality went through was disabled. So there's a subroutine Batman which was designed to get him out of situations. If he can come up with that, I don't see the Court of Owls being able to get Batman into some kind of desperate situation where he's not going to be able to fight. I don't see it. I think it was lame. I think it was not thought through. Yeah. Anyways, well, by the way, Batman R.I.P. is another one, another great one. I don't know if I have it with me. I have bought it, but hey, there you go. It's great. Batman R.I.P. If you haven't read it, I recommend it. And this is, I believe I have Batman Zur-En-Arrh. All right, Cranberry, you want a single comic book for the rest of your life? Just the one. Which do you choose? Single. Are we talking about graphic novel or single issue? Are we talking about floppy? Single issue. Mm-hmm. Final Crisis is jam-packed with tons. Oh, single issue? Well, fine. All right. Single issue. Single issue. I liked. Yeah, that's really hard. It's a really hard question. I liked. I'll go with Tintin. I'll go with the Tintin book. Because there's right. Yeah, I know. It's same with music for me. I can't. It's really hard for me. I've got like 20 favorites, depending on genre. On the genre. Yeah. I think a single issue of Tintin is one of the big books, so I can still count that, right? That still counts, yeah. Right? There was a really great Supreme book, which I enjoyed by Image Comics, I believe. And Supreme's kind of like their Superman, or it was, and it was very gritty and dark, and I still remember it now. Yeah, yeah. And then as time goes by, as you change, you have new inputs, things that you view as um, more important, or you gain access to different angles on a story for what a writer and artist, what writers and artists intend. Yeah, I really enjoyed the Blackest Night series. I really enjoyed it. I read through, I think, almost all of the Blackest Night issues, which is, if you read it, I'm not talking about the main storyline, I'm talking about everything related to Blackest Night. If you read it, it's like 2 stacks of comics that are like, you can't see it. They're like 4 feet high, 2 stacks 4 feet high, of comics. And I read them. It's a great series. I really love Jeff Johns there, and I thought he did a great job. Yeah, but it's kind of difficult. Kind of difficult. I read Archie comics. I read Archie comics, and one of my favorite moments from that, from a single issue, was Veronica, who's really preppy and hates everything about Jughead because he's low class and he's food obsessed and he's just a freak. He's a geek, and she smells his apple fritters. I think she's on a diet or something. She smells apple fritters and she says, "Those are disgusting. You're so gross." And he's like, "You can't have any." Yeah, well, you're not going to get any of these. And so what she does is, while he's gone, she runs back to his locker. She follows the smell of them, and she breaks into his locker and starts shoving these Veronica. Well, if I don't want to die, like if I don't want someone to kill me, if I want a happy life, it would probably be Betty. But I do like Veronica more personally, as far as she looks. Your head didn't explode trying to decide. So no, no, I didn't. It's just really hard. I don't usually. I haven't read single issues in a very long time. I think, yeah, I don't read single issues usually. Veronica is more fun. Yes, yes, she is. If you have a Betty, you can always make her a little more. You can have a little fun. You can make her more exciting. You always expose her to new experiences. If you want to get her a little more exciting. That sounds odd. Anyways, I really enjoyed. I actually really enjoyed Low. I don't know if anybody here has read it, knows what it is. It's an Image comic book, and it's in the far future of Earth, and I think the sun actually becomes so powerful, we wipe out the surface, and to escape from it, humans actually descend into the earth, and they live in the oceans, and that becomes where they live. And I think they also discover some creatures that live there with the humans. And one day they get a signal. They think everything is dead above the surface of the water. Everything is dead. And the humans are living, but they've gone into decadence and debauchery, and they're just killing people and stuff. How about Hillbilly? Have you read Hillbilly? I don't know what Hillbilly is. I know what Shmoo is. I think it's Al Cap, or Andy Cap. I forget his name, but I know what Shmoo is, and that series, that universe, that world that was created. I don't know what Hillbilly is. I don't recall. But yeah, you had them, and then there's a signal that comes above from the surface of the Earth because they still have alarms, or they have ways to measure, and you find out that there is a race of aliens that comes to attack and/or occupy Earth. But it's kind of a race against time because you can't stay below, you can't stay down there, and the surface will kill you, but you have to get to the surface. And so a lady discovers it, and she takes some of her children and stuff, and they make for the surface, deadly surface of the Earth. Anyways, so that was a great single issue that I read. Yeah. So I like those: Moon Knight, Blackest Night, Animal Man, Spider-Man, some Spider-Man runs, and Batman. I do like a lot of Batman. Hey, Angela Curry, what up, lady? You dig? All right. Just talking about comics, comics and geeky stuff. If you want to talk Hillbilly, if you want to talk about those fun topics or ask me things, it is by Eric Powell. It is a fantasy version of Appalachia. The hillbilly Rondell fights witches with a cleaver from the devil. Well, that sounds cool. Yeah, I haven't read it though. I don't know what that is. Yes. So that sounds like a good series. That sounds good. I'm not usually into the supernatural stuff. Like Hellboy, I can appreciate, but I don't read a lot of Hellboy. I'm not really into Hellboy. I am into some of the supernatural stuff from like DC and things. Image. There's this one, I forget what it's called, like Thread or something. This girl can see the threads of fate physically or visibly. She can see threads of fate, and through that she's able to perform actions and fight big baddies, monsters, supernatural beings, because she can see where to be, when, and how to do it, even though she's just like a normal kid otherwise. She actually had like a thing where she wanted to eliminate herself, so she was slicing her arm, so she had those marks. So that was an interesting story, and I got some of the single issues for those. Yeah, pretty good. But it's really hard. It's really hard to find out which single issue I would read forever. Mark's Music Obsession. And yeah. Some of the other stuff I like One Punch Man. That's not an American comic. That is a manga, and from Japan. It's kind of a superhero. It's like lambasting American superhero comics, but it's actually really cool. He's a guy who's so strong that most of the enemies he defeats, like all the enemies he defeats, I'm wearing a shirt actually. I'm just a hero for fun. I'm just a guy who's a hero for fun. I really like the series. It's a guy who's very boring, and he's almost depressed, almost clinically depressed, and he fights these huge monsters which everybody else can't take on, and huge opponents, and he defeats them with pretty much just one punch. And it's to the point, and what he really wanted, like he wanted as a child or whatever, he wanted to grow up and become a superhero where he could have these intense battles. But he's so strong that he can't do like a solid punch on anybody because it just wipes them all out. I like One Punch Man's training routine, push-ups and sit-ups, and I think it's 1 kilometer run. But yes, yeah, that is a great one. I tried it, but I got like I got torn up shoulders and stuff, so it's a little difficult for me to keep up with the routine. Plus, I get like nerve. I pinch my nerve quite a bit, my shoulders and neck and stuff, so makes it difficult. When I'm oh yeah, hey Citizen Ronan, what's up? Hey, nice for you to join me. This is just an ask me anything, just talking. Yeah, One Punch Man's great. I also liked one the writer for One Punch Man. He also did a couple other series. Did a few other series. He did one called Mob Psycho 100, which is a kid who emotionally represses his feelings because when he doesn't have control of them, he becomes this incredibly powerful psychic, which hurts people close to him, including his family. But it hurts pretty much anybody. And then and learning to deal with that. And then he also did one with a middle-aged demon in hell, middle-aged father demon from hell. And I really enjoyed that one. It's kind of like, like, you whippersnappers, get out of the way. What are these vagrants doing on the street? And he's like incredibly powerful as well. So it's nice. Good power fantasies, which I appreciate. What's up? How you doing? So those are some of mine. I actually really like this one. I've sought it out a few times. It is a Korean comic, which is called Her Summon, which is, the stereotypical, it's the trope, fantasy world where people have like magic, there are monsters and stuff. And a guy gets taken, he's a shut-in, and he doesn't go outside, he's agoraphobic. And he he makes this joke about a girl in a girl band or whatever. By the way, Korean comics, I'll just let everybody watching who know, everybody in the comments or whatever. No. Korean comics are like a mix between Japanese and American comics. Like they're grittier, more actiony. If you're used to like the fight styles and how they hit and everything in American comics, you'll see the same thing or very similar in Korean comics, only a little more bombastic, just a smidge, but it's pretty cool. Tense fights. Anyway, so Her Summon is a guy who's like an agoraphobe. He is an agoraphobe. He watched a girl band. He was watching them, and he takes photos, and a girl had a name like young kid or whatever. And the guy goes, "Oh yeah, I love taking pictures of young kids," or something like that. Because an interviewer, a news person, the news lady does an interview with him as a random person. He's just like, "Yeah, I really love him." And he's making a joke intentionally based on her name. But anyways, after that, everybody thinks he's a fan of the playground after that. And so he just stays in his apartment, and everybody just tells him over and over again, "Die, we hate you, horrible, yeah, okay, tell us more about your fantasy life, creep, you're a freak," and that kind of stuff. Like changes schools, moves, just trying to escape, but he can't. Anyways, and the person who he made the joke about eventually, you know, kind of says, "Yes, I got the joke, and people shouldn't be going after." But anyways, so the story is him. He gets summoned by a girl who is a summoner. She has like an ability to there in that world there are classes. So you have like knight, you have paladin, you have magicians, you have wizards, kind of that kind of stuff. Archers. She is a summoner, and they can usually summon these awesome, huge, um, skyscraper-sized monsters, beasts, spirits that can do a bunch of attacks and everything in this world. And what she does is she summons him to her world, and in her world, he is actually immensely powerful. He's still awkward, super awkward, and he's he's still creepy. He still acts like a shut-in, but he's immensely powerful. He's like supremely powerful, and he's still horrible. Like he has like he can bring things from our world to their world, and it's like very powerful, like magical. Like he takes a band-aid. The girl who summoned him, her eye gets cut, and she might lose the eye. I'm not gonna give you too much of it away in case you want to check it out. Her summon. Anyways, she's missing an eye pretty much, and what he does is he takes his band-aid. The door to his room scuffed him on top of his foot. He's just very delicate, so he has a band-aid, and he rips it off in this other world, and he's like, this will be great. And he comes up with fake magical words that don't mean anything. Anyways, so he takes this whole band-aid and he places it on her eye. He places it over her eye, and it's got little strands of hair coming off of it, and some residual blood. Places it on her eye, and this light comes up, and it shines, and her eye's completely healed and restored. And she's like, "It's great, but why do I feel like I hate this? Something terrible just happened to me." Because it did. It was this loser shutting guy who put his dirty, like scabby band-aid over her eye to save it. And he's being all awkward about it and everything. It's great. So I really enjoyed that. Some other ones. Let's see. I'm a fan of Tintin, which is great. I think it's it's not German. It's not French. I think it's Belgian. I think it's a Belgian comic, something like that. But it is a big comic globally, and Tintin is an investigator, private detective, and he goes around solving issues and stuff. But that's a favorite of mine. Asians love the weirdo loner guy trope, it seems. I do too. I do too. You might be able to guess. I'll give you a hint. There's a guy in my apartment right now who fits many of those categories. Yeah, they really like, because Asia is, you have to fit in, right? You have to fit in. You have to have, there's a certain standard in Japan and Korea and stuff. And just like here, like you have loners and weirdos, geeks, nerds, people who are shut-ins and stuff, who people don't expect anything from. And in Asia, they have like high standards for society and what you have to be at. And I think young men, people, they go, "Oh, I want something inspirational." And they go, yes, even though society might say you don't have anything to offer, you're not positive, you're not going to have any great impact on the world, you still have these stories to show you can take your weaknesses or what are perceived as weaknesses by society and turn them into strengths. And you can also find new strength or abilities, interests, things which can be useful in society, and you're more powerful than you expect. So yeah, which I think is good. It's a good message. I think they should do it more for American or non Asian audiences. I think it's a good lesson. I mean, the United States was built off of a ragtag group of of guerrilla fighters, and they took on the biggest military at that time, or the biggest seafaring empire at that time, and they took them on with a bunch of picks and shovels, and they kicked their butts. That's it's a little reference to Shanghai Nights, the second installment with Owen Wilson and Jackie Chan, the comedy venture kind of series, Western. It's great. It's hilarious. Anyways, so we have those people. You know, Peter Parker is a geek. He's a loser. He's a loner, and people don't like him. He's a nerd, and then he becomes Spider-Man, saves people who don't like him. Yeah, it did happen a lot more in the 80s and stuff. These days, it's more like I'm oppressed because of my identity. Please show me empathy and sympathy, and then I'll take you for what I can get. So I'm going to get anything I can from you, and I'm going to say anything you don't give me is racist, sexist, homophobic, transphobic, whatever, you know, differently abled, phobic, I don't know. But yeah, that's what they go for these days. But yeah, it's great. I love that. The underdog story is something that I enjoy. I have enjoyed. Actually, Phil and Brandon did it in their Lost Pages series with Jazz, this character right here, right there, her Jazz. She was bullied, and she was not treated well as a child, and she rose up, and part of the things that she was part of her weaknesses, she turned into a strength, and she used it to become a great hero. So it's good. Good classic trope. Good story. It's inspirational. That's what you want for kids. You want them to be inspired. You want them to be hopeful. You want them to look at the world and say, I'm going to do something positive, make a difference in the world. And even though I don't feel like I'm much, even though I'm talked down to or whatever, I could still contribute and be great. That's great. So yeah. Any questions for me? I could keep talking about comics. Another series that I like is Cable, which takes place after the Messiah War, I believe, in Marvel Comics. Which took place after No More Mutants, the No More Mutants arc, or what are they called? Event in Marvel Comics, and all the mutants went away, or most of the mutants went away, except for most of the X-Men, because they needed to keep them around to generate income and interest. Yeah, so after that happens, Cable takes on a child, a little girl, and he takes her kind of hopping through takes her through history. Do it topics? I have to do a show with topics? An actual show with content? Actual real content? You're asking a lot from me, Citizen Ronan. Come on, man. What is this? You're forcing it on me? What is this, man? Come on, give me a break. Maybe, sure. Yeah, I mean, I think I might. But I usually like doing actual videos because I can edit things and put them up in places. Yeah, maybe. I'd like to. Anyway, so Cable, he goes after him. He goes with the girl, and they get chased throughout history looking for her because she was the last mutant which was born. She was seen as the Messiah. So Messiah War, that's where that title comes from. And so they're being chased throughout history, and if they get spotted, the girl could die and get killed. And Cable is kind of like that 80s hero kind of thing. He's very tough. He's like Deadpool. He's like an anti-hero Punisher. he does kill people, and that's what he does. He does have some psionic powers, able to manipulate things with his mind, but he doesn't really use it that much. He mostly uses it to keep the techno-organic virus, which he has, which is that half metal part of his body. He mostly uses it to keep that at bay. But he's pretty much just like a Rambo with highly advanced weaponry and metal on half of his side. But it's a great book. I'm just asking. Seem very comfortable in front of the. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad. Now, give me some money. No, just kidding. I've done this a few times, but I appreciate it. But I really recommend the Cable series. I bought it twice, I believe. I would buy it again, but I have space. I usually try to keep space. When I get more books, it tends to be heavier to lift and move when I go from place to place. So I'm a nomad. And I do not, and I know I will be mad if I have to carry a lot of weight around. Anyways, that's horrible. I apologize. This actually takes place. This is an Avengers book, Avengers X Sanction, which takes place after that series, and it's got Cable coming back, shooting Tony Stark and Captain America. It's great. He has more of the techno-organic virus taking over his body at that point. Actually, what he does is, I think in the Cable series, where he's with Hope, the little girl, he actually has to fight someone, and I think he loses a large amount of his tissue, like the techno-organic virus, like his body is like chewed up, like his arm is missing or whatever. And I think it's either that or part of the Deadpool series, one of the Deadpool, a comic out of the Deadpool series, one of them from, I think, Marvel Knights. Anyways, he loses a lot of his mass, that techno-organic half of his body, and what they do is they take an embryo, a techno-organic extraterrestrial, and they bond it to him, and it responds to his mind and what his desired form is, and it actually becomes the metal part of his body again. So this isn't technically this metal that you see isn't technically the techno-organic virus, or not all of it is. It's also this extraterrestrial embryo baby, which is kind of implied that it could come back and it could form a fully adult version of itself. But they're not going to do anything with that story because it's too complex and they have no use for Cable right now. They're not going to draw any attention to that. So those are. I like Low. Low is a great series from Image Comics. I think it's Birthright. Birthright is another good Image comic. I did like. I think I like Savage Dragon from Image Comics, and what's his name? Backlash. He's kind of like Spider-Man, but he has these electrical kind of tendrils that he shoots out. Anyways, so that's another character that I like. Gen 13. I like Gen 13. There's quite a few books that I like. Any that you guys like? If there are no questions, I might be ending it. But anything you guys like? Any questions you have for me, or anything? Yeah. Right here, I do like did like a lot of the X-Men books. Boneyard, Wake were some good bande dessinée. Wait, Boneyard is an American comic by Alan Moore, I believe, which I have. Or Richard Moore. Richard Moore. It's a guy who gets. Bequeathed a property by his uncle or grandpa, and what it's found. Still learning stuff. Appreciate the recommendations. You're denotted. You're denotted, Angela Curry. How dare you? I mean, how dare you? I'm greatly offended. I'm angered, actually. Boneyard, he gets a property, and he's like, maybe I can sell it for my debts. And what it is it's a graveyard with a bunch of monsters and stuff. Demons, monsters, vampires, talking skeletons, a Loch Ness monster type monster. And he tends to fit in with them, even though he's just a normal, regular guy. So that's pretty fun. Yeah. I'm only supposed to anger Citizen Ronin. So you're angering other people then. Okay, I see how it is. I see what's happening. Angela likes to anger many people. Oh, she likes to go one the other and anger. Terrible. Anyways, there are people who appreciate it. Well, thank you for donating a little anger to me. Spreading it around. It's nice. It's nice to share the anger, right? This is a series which nobody knows, but I liked. It's called The Exiles, which they kind of did a version of this with the latest Deadpool and Wolverine movie. In that, and I think they went into something like this in one of the Marvel series, I think Loki. But there are people pulled from different dimensions, and usually from dimensions which are expiring or are going to expire. And there is an authority, there is an organization which exists outside of realities, outside of any realities, kind of a null space. And they pull heroes and or villains, whoever, together and they have missions to go on, and they go to different realities in order to save or achieve certain things in these realities. So it's kind of like a multi-dimensional X-Men, which I like. So it's called The Exiles. This is Morph right there. And Blink, she has teleportation abilities, and she does combat. This is I believe, an alternate version of Magneto. This is a daughter of an alternate realities Nightcrawler. And then there's I think it's a Mimic. I forget his name. Might be Mimic, but he can take like a third of the powers or something of anybody he gets in contact with. He can take that, and he has like a weaker version of other people's powers, but he can hold like 5 of them at once, like 5 of their abilities at once, or five different people's abilities at once, and he can use them all at the same time. And it's pretty cool. And sometimes he uses their powers differently than how the hero, like Colossus, can turn his body into an organic metal. Well, he can also do that, but he might use it differently than Colossus would, like find some kind of strength, because it's him and he doesn't think the same way other people do. And so he might use the power in a different way. And so, and he can call them up. He can call up those power sets, those abilities at different times. So I actually like the book, the series. Yeah. Another one that I really liked. I think I have it. Sorry, I'm looking. Yo, what's up, awesome one? How you doing? What Cran isn't a Jamaican big black guy? Man, my perception has been deceived. I totally am. What are you talking about? Can't you see? Hey man, I'm totally Jamaican, man. You know what I'm saying? Smooth, cool runnings. Okay. I love the hashish. Okay, I don't know. I don't know what that. No, I'm totally a big black Jamaican guy. Yeah, I'm an albino. That's probably how you're confused. I actually dye my hair black or dark. Yeah, so you might be thinking your hair is colored, even the eyebrows and the eyelash. It's very painful, but I am totally a big black Jamaican guy. My parents don't know this yet. They're white, but I'm totally black. The another series I liked. Oh, hey, yeah, awesome one, by the way. Another series I liked, or another book I really liked is I have it. I had it. Is Hulk the End, which is great. And it's got art by Dale Keown. It's one of the best books that I've had. I've had images of that book in my mind since it came out. So that's like, I don't know, 20 years or something. I don't know. When did this come out? But it is like one of the greatest stories, I think, in Marvel Comics. And I would say the same thing about the Marvel Knights Moon Knight series as well. I don't see when this came out, but yeah, it's one of my favorites. It is after everyone is dead. It's post-apocalyptic. The only person who still lives, or the only two people who still live, is the Hulk and Bruce Banner in a world that's occupied by pretty much just super cockroaches, and it's great. It's a great story. I recommend it to other people as well. They're still publishing it, or they're still putting out. They're still putting it out. They're still publishing and putting out new not runs. They're still putting it out. They're still printing copies because it's a great book. It's a great story. Yeah. 2.0. I don't know who 1.0 is. Yeah. Huh. So new issues sponsored by Raid Bug Spray. Well, they're not new issues. It's a reprint of the issues. And my camera's dying. My connection's dying. Anyways, so yeah, but it's very popular. Liberty Meadows by Frank Cho is a hilarious, good book. Frank Cho, I don't know if anybody knows. Oh, that's great. Oh, that's nice. She cares. She obviously cares for you. The Liberty Meadows, Frank Cho actually didn't go to an art school. He did a comic strip for his university. And he taught himself, or he learned how to draw and do like great work. He even got into pastels, oil painting. But anyways, he taught himself he learned how to do art by, he learned how to do art by looking at learn to draw books, stuff like that. And he just incorporated all of them into his own style. So this kind of stuff, Marvel books, learning how to draw. Yeah, like the DC Comics Guide to Creating Comics, that kind of stuff. Yeah, so he was self-taught, and he's like one of the bigger names, one of the bigger artists in comics, or at least he was. He draws ladies a little bit too attractively. If you've seen some of the Captain, it's called not Captain Amazing. You've seen some of the Captain Marvel, some of the Captain Marvel stuff from Marvel Comics. They like to draw their women like men or trans men. It's not attractive. So they don't like hiring him for things because he draws women a little bit too attractively. And he does do a lot of comedy and stuff. He's a funny guy. Even though I personally disagree with him on many things. Captain Canada, yeah, Captain Canada. He's not one of my favorite, characters. Not one of my favorite comics there. Yeah. There's some series that I've read. Chainsaw Man. It's very. Jay is that man? Which one's Jay? Who is Jay? Jay? I liked. Yeah, I like quite a few books. Any questions? Anything? I got. Yeah, I had that. I had the Red Hulk series, the Jay Ryan. Oh, okay. I see. Got it. Oh, I see. Yeah, Jay, I hear, is an incredibly racist, offensive person who no one should have contact with. He's illegal, dangerous. He's a threat to society and to the moral fabric, the moral fabric at large. I like the Red Hulk, the introduction to Red Hulk, that series, when pretty much everybody. Oh yeah, he's Canadian. That's what you get. That's what you get from Canadians. They're all horrible. You've heard of what are they called? Alpha Force Squad, Justice for Jay. No justice for Jay. He's in Canada. He can't get any justice. Can't get justice in Canada. Yeah. Although they do make great poutine, they make great fries covered in cheese curds and gravy. That's what I hear. Oh, that's sad. Oh, yeah. We could maybe rescue him. Maybe we'll have like an exchange. Maybe we'll have like he'll be one of our refugees. Maybe we'll accept him as a refugee, like we're doing with the British, because they're having a hard time over there too. Don't tell him I said that, by the way. I will tell. He's right here. He's right here in this corner. Hey Jay, did you hear what Angela said? Yeah, exactly. She said she hates you and you're dead to her. Wow, what a world. He said he forgives you and everything is good. Okay, now he's flipping you off. I don't know what this is. I don't know what this is. He's making some kind of kill you reference. That is not nice. I disavow. I disagree with that completely. Horrible person. Anyways, he's Canadian again. What do you expect? Yes, it's terrible. Forgive you. He'll forgive you. He forgives because he's Canadian. Yes, exactly. He's actually gonna say sorry to you because of what you said. Terrible. Horrible person. Jay is not there because he would never forgive Angela. No, it's a different Jay. That's where you're confused. See, I understand because I was saying Jay like I'm talking about Jay, the one that Angela and Awesome One are talking about. It's a different Jay. He's also Canadian. He just doesn't like anybody talking about Canadian Jays. So I understand how you're confused. Citizen Ronan, easy mistake to make. Don't sweat it. All right. Uh, it's okay. I should have been more. Yeah, I apologize, Jay. I apologize. I should have been specific. It's this Jay Smith. Yeah, he's related to Trudeau, so he still does get easily offended. Um, anybody? Anybody got any questions? I have. I liked. There's just a bunch of series. I like the old '90s X-Men series. Um, yeah, Batman, Green Lantern. The Flash I actually really enjoyed. He had at a time he had a run where he and his family all had superpowers. So his son was able to accelerate his own growth, so he could accelerate his muscle growth and become like super strong. And his daughter could accelerate. I think she could just get faster or something. Maybe it's like she could think faster. I forget. But like the people in his family also were connected to the Speed Force. That was a good series. Because they did like it's family, like family dynamics plus being a superhero, and he was the second. I think it's Jay Garrick. Another Jay. He's not Canadian though, so it doesn't count. But anyways, Jay. Maybe I'm thinking of maybe Jay Garrick's the first Flash. Either way, he's the second one, and he took over the name, and he took over the position of being the Prime Flash, and that was a good series. And One Piece, I read One Piece forever. It's a manga. It's a Japanese comic. They started getting into like trans stuff and like swapping, like men and women swapping bodies and things, and like people being more feminine and stuff, and I lost more interest on that, even though I read it for like, I don't know, or I've been following it for like 20 years. So yeah, I read a story where Thwan became Barry. So Barry Allen. Barry Allen would be the first one. So Jay Garrick is the second one. Yeah, so it was Jay. Thawne. You're saying Thawne. It's actually Thawne. Eobard, Eobard Thawne. And he's Reverse Flash. So that's cool. That's a cool story. Yeah, he was the one that set off. Yeah, Barry died. He died and then he came back after the Flash series that I'm talking about. Eobard Thawne is the Reverse Flash. He is able to move very fast, but he comes from a far future where the original Flash got really famous. Barry Allen. He was the iconic Flash, and he didn't like that. He hated Barry Allen, and so he goes back to the past to try to mess over his future so that he tries to destroy Flash as much as he can without hurting his reality. Anyway, so what you find out is Reverse Flash can actually he can jump from points in time, and he can actually occupy different realities from offshoots that he creates. So he can like double himself up. He can send 4 of himself to one location and just gang up on Barry Allen at once. Really cool. He is an underrated, immensely powerful supervillain. So it's a really cool character. Yeah. Yeah, I got quite a few Marvel comics I like, and DC, Image, Dark Horse. I'm not really into what's it called? Uh, um, Vertigo. Vertigo is a DC imprint, I believe. And I'm not really into Vertigo books. Yeah, but I've read quite a few comics, quite a few different types of comics. I've spent, I believe at this point, I spent a lot of money on comics. I don't have a lot with me just because I move around and it's hard to haul all of it by yourself. It's very heavy. Comics weigh a lot. But with the ink and the paper, but I've spent over $7,000 on comics. And I probably won't stop. It's a good medium to tell stories with. It's inspirational. It's art plus story. I like all that symbology, morality, lessons, plays, philosophy, science. It's great. All on little pieces of paper, unless it's European, then bigger pieces of paper. Yeah. Anything else? If not, I might be ending the stream in like 3 minutes. So I've been going for like an hour and a half. Goldfish. It's a favorite of mine. I got the big box here. It's nice. Oh, thanks. I saw the Deadpool and Wolverine movie, which is great. A little too many gay sex jokes, too many gay jokes, and a little too many what's the other one? Well, a little too many F-bombs. A few too many F-bombs for me, my taste. I get that you're going for an R rating, but I think the violence gets you there to an R rating anyways. Part of the comedy of the Deadpool. Did I say Daredevil? I meant Deadpool. Deadpool and Wolverine, if I didn't say that. Part of the comedy is that you see like the expletives, but it's in that the writing that comics do, where you see like the pound symbol and that kind of stuff. Hey, you got a crash. Had a long day. Good stream, Grant. Thank you. Thank you, Mark's Music Obsession. Hope your mom is doing well. Hope you're doing well and enjoying your music. Sounds great. And enjoying your boats, your nautical adventures. Yeah, I'll probably be leaving soon as well. Merry Christmas. Oh, that's so nice. It's so kind. Wishing everyone Merry Christmas in advance. Maybe Christmas in July, only late. Yeah. Yeah, so it's a great medium. I would like it to continue, but with the way Western comics are going and the way Western comics are going, American comics, aside from the independent creators, they're just killing their own industry, and they're doing it intentionally. The people within the industries now, they're literally doing it because they have the message to put out, and that's what they want to put out. And they know that it could cost the industry, and they don't care because they have no investment. They don't respect the stories. They don't care. They don't care about the audience. Their objective isn't to tell dynamic, interesting adventure stories, characters that they care about, and things that are inspirational. They don't care about that. They just want to get their message out, and that's why other countries are beating them. That's why people aren't reading their comics anymore.
but they don't care because they'll jump ship and go to some other industry where there's there's already a fan base which they can exploit to deliver the little packets of messaging. Be the message of truth. Yeah, it's good. And many creators in the independent comics field arena domain, they are putting out good books, and it's great to support them. They're trying to take the spot that the mainline comics have decided to give up on. At least Marvel and DC, it appears. I think Image might be a little bit not doing that so much. They've always been a little bit more, hippy dippy in their books, more liberal, whatever on their side, but they still look like they're interested in telling story. Maybe Dark Horse. Yeah. So anybody have any other questions? Any questions for me? Anything? Anything about me, my life, my desires, my needs, my feelings, my strong, deep set feelings? Anything? I have I'm checking. Why are you jumping in and out of chats? Are you talking about me? Or are you talking to somebody else? Are you talking to me? Awesome. What? In and out of chats? Yeah. Okay. Me. All right. I jump in and out of chats because I either don't like what I'm watching, lose interest. There is something in my life which takes precedence, like something in reality, with like some kind of appointment or something comes up, or I want to support somebody else and I watched a large amount on one and I go to the other. Sometimes I'm tired. Sometimes it's later in the day. I have to get up pretty early for my work, or I'm working and I can do with silence sometimes. Some other reasons, yeah. So those are the reasons I would jump in and out of chats. Sometimes I just like to support people, and so I'll just go into their chat for a while. When's your date with Angela? I don't have a date with Angela. I'm not her type. I'm living in a completely different place, and yeah. She's fine. Yeah, I have some other goals. So those are some reasons that I pop in and out of chats. Sometimes I feel like I'm a little annoying to some people, so I'm like, I'll save you. I will disconnect, and so I will stop and I'll just leave. Mom, I'm on a berry farm. Yes, I'm on a berry farm in the middle of a desert. I actually live in Arizona right now. Yes, I see that. I know. I live in a desert right now. It's nice. You get sun, even though you probably can't tell. I'm as white as a sheet of paper. And some sheets of paper, if they're like brown or black sheets of paper, I'm whiter than those. I mean, I'm whiter than those. You know, the white ones less so. You know, if it's a white sheet of paper, it might be more white than I am. But if it's like a darker one, I would be dark. Have you met Culture Casino? He's in Arizona. No. I don't meet people. No. I just do what Angela does and stalk people outside their homes. I just go into my car and just watch them from inside their home while they're eating dinner with their families. as one does who is mentally stable. I just hang out and stalk people. Shelby is too. I know where he lives. That's good. That's good. Great. It's great. You should invite yourself over to their house. Hey, it's me, Angela. You never met me in person, but I'd like to invite myself in your home during your family dinner. Is that good? It doesn't matter or not. I'm coming in. There you go. Sounds like a great. I don't go out in the sun so much because it's really hot. It's really hot out there. I'm delicate. I'm like a lily of the field. If I step outside there, I'm just gonna get burned to a crisp. Most it's like 100 plus all the time, right? Not all the time, but a lot. Yeah. I like to say, yeah. I like to go around. I don't do anything. Also, my puppet channel that's streaming now. You have a puppet channel. What kind of puppets? Hand puppets or like the string ones? Also, my puppet channel is streaming now. Don't know how I became a mod. It's not family friendly. He's in Arizona too. Oh, I think I might know who you're talking about. I think I might know that channel. Is Courtney? Is that one that Courtney still goes on? That she still mods on? Not sharing. Okay. Or maybe you're knit sharing. You have some knits and you don't want to share with them. That's great. That's great because it's unhealthy if you're sharing knits. Yeah, you need to not let that get any further. In other words, nit it in the bud. You're welcome. That's free. Yes, that's good. And that's applicable because it's with puppets. Again, if it's not the kind that's wooden or anything. Let's see. Got One Punch Man and Avengers Academy. And some X-Men and Wolverine books. Yeah. Valerian. Valerian is also some. I have some Valerian books, which I don't know if you know, but George Lucas did take a lot of inspiration from, or outright just jacked, like large portions of many different stories, many different creations, and he put them together into Star Wars. But he did take a lot from Valerian. And if you're interested in taking a look at it, it's Valerian, and he took like the Millennium Falcon design and like some of the characters. I think Han Solo, Leia. He took them from Valerian, so much so that they actually referenced it in their book. Pretty funny. Yeah, it's an interesting book, but it's kind of like The Shadow and how Batman was taken from The Shadow, and maybe what's his name? The old pulp hero. He was like the Bronze Man, Doc Savage. I think it's Doc Savage. He took like Doc Savage and he took Doc Savage and like the Shadow or whatever. And the guy who created Batman, he like incorporated them into Batman. And I still love Batman, even though he's like an amalgam character. He's a character which had many different aspects of him taken from other characters, other stories, and put them together. And he's still with us. It's still a very popular character. Yeah. So, by the way, Batman R.I.P. It does show. I think it's Final Crisis where Batman dies. Anyways, Batman dies, and then after that, he gets sent Darkseid. People call it Darkseid, but Darkseid When I was a kid, I called him Darkseid. Anyways, and older. Darkseid shot. He has like omega beams, so he's got like laser beams, which there are two different kinds of beams he shoots from his eyes. One, it completely obliterates you, destroys you. It's kind of like Superman's laser vision, only more intense. And he also has one that puts you in a state of eternal suffering. And so what it did was it actually sent Bruce Wayne back into the past, like the far past, and he would live through several periods of life, and he was pretty much Batman in various various um, various moments in time, moments in history. It's pretty cool. I think it's Cran. When's your berry crushing stream so Roke can play it and review your crushing skills? Yes, yes. Like Halle Berry? She doesn't know me. I don't know. Whenever she's free, I guess. I don't have any. I don't have those. I do have but yeah, Roke and Rocky. Sorry. Say Roke. Yes. Oh, okay. Nice. Yeah, Rocky Ballesteros. Angela Curry. Man, if you go to the top of the stream, well, I don't know if you can catch it, but if you type in ROQUE, then a space BALLESTEROS, you'll see a guy who's working, a guy who does a lot of work in animation industry. He's also been on Shanthan Jetty's stream quite a bit. He's a friend of Shanthan Jetty's and many people in art, professional artists. He, I don't know if you've actually seen his stream before. I don't know if I've seen you in one of his streams. Anyways, he's a great guy. He's hilarious. You can check him out. He's got a drawing as his. Oh, okay, I see. She is subscribed. Congratulations, Rocky. Yes. Anytime he wants to crush anything, anytime he wants to see me cut my hair, which apparently he said he wanted to do. He wanted to watch me do a stream. A little weird. I guess that just shows how invested he was in seeing me do a stream or a video. Yeah, he's great. Hey, we're trying to keep Rocky stream free of the CG crowd. I see. Okay. Must protect the click. Gross. I don't think he even cares. I'm pretty sure Rocky would love everybody to come into his stream. Except for that one guy, Mr. Dragon, the weirdo pervert dude. Yeah. But yeah, you probably like everybody. Shanth, you would also probably hate Shanth to be on his stream. Absolutely despises that man. His friend that he's had on quite a few times. Yeah. So I don't know. If Rocky wants to have me on stream, he can. Angela has many accounts. What is it? She has Tay Tay. What's Tay Tay's account? I can't. Only 3. I have 3 actually. I have this one and another one with the same name. Or almost the same name. Yeah. What are you talking about? You have 3 accounts? I thought it was only you, Angela Curry. There are 3? What? Are you being deceiving? How dare you? Terrible. I have been deceived. She did that. I have 2 and a third for the family. Oh, that's great. That's nice. And by family, do you mean like family, like people that you know that are just friends, or like actual relatives? like blood relatives. Maybe you mean family as in the world is your family. This Tay-Tay and Sweeney Bubes. I saw it. That's new. I don't think I've seen that one yet. Oh, maybe I have. I probably have. Uh, yeah. Yeah, Baraki's great. If you find out you get concrete boots, it's good. Very good. Uncomfortable. Depending on the kind of concrete, they might break after you sweat in them for a bit. Or they could be those porous kind, which is porous kinds of concrete, which is awesome. And you would need those when there's a lot of humidity in the air, because when it rains, it porous, and porous concrete helps. Yes, I understood. Yes, I understand. Awesome one. I got your concrete joke, swimming with the fishes and all that. Gotcha, man. Yo. Yeah, that's it. Oh, I have I used to read a bunch of Fantastic Four books actually as a kid too. Fantastic Four, there's a great run. I forget who did it. It's where Johnny Storm, the Thing meets God. The Fantastic Four meet God in Marvel, and it's actually Jack Kirby, I believe, that they meet. And then they also Johnny Storm gets Sue Storm's invisibility slash shield powers, and he becomes one of the new Silver Surfer is the Herald. He becomes the new Herald of Galactus, which is cool. It's a great story. Thor, there's also this Thor run by J. Michael Straczynski. I hated J. Michael Straczynski when he did Spider-Man's, when he did his Spider-Man run. I hated him, but he does a great Thor series, and I think I've bought that. I think I bought that run twice, at least the first parts. There's also an awesome Iron Fist one, an Iron Fist story. It's great. You find out that Iron Fist has been dealing with so the Iron Fist is a series of Iron Fists. They have a book. They are chosen by a god, and they are the avatar that carries the Iron Fist with each generation. And then they pass on, and the power is supposed to transfer to someone else. But you find out in that Iron Fist story that there was another Iron Fist which never gave up his powers, and he actually there's another Iron Fist which never relinquished his powers. He's not been doing anything with the abilities. He's just been holding on to them for his own purposes. And you see Iron Fist, I forget his name, the actual guy who's Iron Fist, but he actually learns a bunch of new techniques in that series, and it's written a lot like Spider-Man, really human. And Iron Fist is not a big name. Iron Fist is not a big name hero or whatever. He's like C-list, but he was written really well. It was really well done. It's a favorite of mine. I think I bought that series twice. What? Iron Fist? No, not. It's not like that. No. Shazam got a bunch of powers. He got like the Wisdom of Solomon, powers of Zeus, that kind of stuff, all packaged into one, and that's where he comes from. Billy Batson, I think it's Billy Batson. But no, he it's different. Plus, I think yeah, it's different. It's a different thing. That would be kind of like saying Moon Knight, right? It'd be kind of like saying that Moon Knight has because there are other people who've taken on the who've been the avatar of the moon god, that they would be similar. They're not. It's not. It's very different. He does street. Iron Fist does like a bunch of street level crime. Shazam is like Shazam and Black Adam are like Superman level heroes. Oh, oh, okay. Not really, because they're both heroes. Black Adam's more villainy. Yeah. Yeah. So Iron Fist. This is Iron Fist. Right here. It looks a whole lot better in one of the more recent series. Iron Man. One of my favorite books series runs that they did was the Iron Man Extremis series, where Iron Man actually hacks his own body, and he has like a bunch of nano robots that he injects into his body, and he has a suit which he can call out through his mind, and it would cover him, and he just has a bunch of new technologies. Just really well written, and the art is fantastic in the Extremis series. I really recommend that to anybody. Captain America. I read Captain America. I didn't like Captain America as a character. I don't really like as standalone, but he has had great. I did like some of the '90s Avengers series with Captain America. He did have, I think it was called The Chosen, where he actually inspired people. It dealt with like the Afghanistan war, and like inspiring people. It was a really cool story until the end, which they made more sci-fi, and it was better when it was kind of more spiritual. But that was a great story, great art. And then yeah, Captain America. They did another series with him. I think it's on Planet Z, where he goes to an alternate dimension, to another planet, and he does a superhero thing on a world that's filled with like monsters and other beings and stuff. And he adopts like a couple kids or whatever there, and he has like a whole life on Planet Z. Nobody knows where he's at, but it's really great. It's a good series. I recommend that. I don't think many people know that series though. I don't think many people know that series, are aware of it, but it's really great. Hello, Morgana. Hola. ¿Cómo estás? How are you? I'm not sure. I might have seen you before. I'm not sure I recognize you though. Image took most of my money as Marvel and DC covers never caught my attention in the 90s. That's understandable. They did have great covers, great interiors too. Yeah, it's understandable. Yeah, I liked a lot of Image stuff. There's some good work in there. I think Image did East of West. It might be Dark Horse, but East of West is good. Gorgeous art. I think the story is great. I got interested in it in the latter half of the story, but from what I hear, most of the people were interested in the first half of the story. It wasn't not for me. I was not interested in it. But I did. There are quite a few series. Birthright is a great series where a child gets abducted and brought to another dimension, fantasy world. He's like chosen, and you find out he's not chosen by the necessarily the good guys, and he becomes like Conan plus, Conan the Barbarian plus, which is great. I think it's a cool story. Yeah, but that's one of the more recent ones. That's not like Wildcats. I'm not even sure Wildcats. I think Wildcats is Image, but it's not even Wildcats or what are some other Image ones? But it's not them. Squadron Supreme. Yeah, Savage Dragon, Invincible. I like the art of, but I didn't like the story. Wasn't a fan. Although I did read quite a bit of it. Also, I did read Walking Dead, which is great great story. Wasn't a fan of the art. Great story. Really big volumes. Like the size of the volumes was really big. And I just stopped because of the content, and I kept seeing dead bodies everywhere that I looked. The same thing when I watched the series, the show Bones. I was always dealing with bones and bodies and stuff. And from watching those and reading those, I kept seeing them in my dreams, like zombies and stuff. And yeah, I got into it a little bit further. It was on loan to me by a buddy, so I gave it a shot. The Yeah, after a while, I just kept seeing trash bags on the side of the road and thinking bodies when I did that. I was like, I'll put it away. I don't like zombie stuff either. I don't like Marvel zombies. I don't like it. I'm not a fan of gore. I'm not into gore, and some people are into it. I'm not a fan. I don't like putting it in my eye gate. And yeah, I don't think it's necessary. If it fits the story, if it's essential to the story, sure, yes. If it's not, if it's just to if it's just to stimulate you or get you, if it's just for the shock value, I'm not into it. It has to serve the story. It has to have like a purpose in the story. Otherwise, I'm just like, yeah. It's the same way with like sexual stuff, cussing, whatever. I'm not into it if it doesn't serve the story. Lol, I used to prefer excess gore and blood over any demonic story. Yeah, I wasn't into it. I've liked some books that did have gore in them, but I wasn't into it. I didn't see, it didn't add anything positive to me. Lots of people are fans. Same with horror fans. I'm not a fan of horror unless it's like monster flicks, Godzilla, kaiju, Creature from the Black Lagoon, stuff like that, corny stuff. I like those. So now you like the demonic stories. Awesome one. So now you like the demonic stories. Angela Curry. He likes them more than the gory ones with the heavily bloody, gory comics. Angela, come on. Daryl. Yeah. Although there is some great, I'm mostly into sci-fi adventure stuff. Some fantasy, but mostly sci-fi adventure buddy comics. Yeah. I'm not into it. Unless trying to go for like a high concept. There's some gory stuff in like nudity and stuff. I'm not into it if it's got it's not, doesn't serve anything. There are some French books though that have some of that stuff, and I'm like, oh, that's really brutal. But there's a concept behind it. Some of the stuff is realistic. They're willing to show it there. For some reason, the anime ones didn't bother me. They treat demons more like a race instead of evil entities. Yeah, that bothers me. I actually hate it when they treat demons like they are another race to be empathized with and to have sympathy for, and you should feel guilty about passing judgment on the demons. No, they're demons. Okay, if demons you want to have empathy for or sympathy for, you should because they're demons. All right. I don't care. I don't like them. And what you're trying to do is make me feel empathy or whatever for them. No, they're evil. I don't even like all humans. Like if you're a human, if you're a tribe, a country, or whatever, and you're doing evil things, I don't like you. Even if you're humans, I don't care. I don't have any kind of, loyalty, obligation. I don't have any kind of connection with you. No, I don't. I don't like you. Same with like many of modern comics try to give sympathy for the villains. I don't have sympathy for the villains. I don't care. And if you're telling a story where the humans are supposed to be the bad guys and the demons are supposed to be the good, tolerant guys, and you're supposed to reevaluate your prejudices, no. Choose another group of humans, and yes, demons are a thing, and I don't empathize with them. Stop trying to worm your little thing in there, your idea in there. Forget you. If you look scary and you're not, I don't give a crap. I'm fine. Yeah. You're just a scary half human, whatever. Sure. No, that's fine. I'm good with that. But yeah, I don't like this. I don't watch much anime anymore. You have watched anime? What have you watched? Hunter x Hunter or Hunter x Hunter, depending on how pedantic you're being. Is a good series. That one has gore in it, but it does serve the story. They are dealing with like assassins and stuff, so that makes sense. Um, there is brutality there. Erased is sad, and it's really good. It's about a man who can go back and forth in time to correct an error, and then one time he has to correct it in his own life, and one time he has to correct an error that goes way back in his life. And it's an interesting, sad story. Plastic Memories is sad. It's a good one. Attack on Titan has a lot of gore, if you're into that. Beautiful artwork. It's an intense story. I stopped watching after the first season. And One Piece, again, the same problem. Got more progressive in there. I stopped watching it. But I was addicted for a while. I like stayed up like into 3 a.m., 4 a.m. just binging it. Like I would skip the intro, I would skip the break, I would skip the end, and I would just go through it like that. And I went through like, I don't know, 7 seasons, 10, 7. My camera died. My connection died. I used to watch 3 to 5 entire series a week. Yeah, I did that. Unwanted Undead Adventurer is pretty good. Um, uh, World Trigger is pretty good. It, you, um, I would do about the same. Um, Redo, I think. I forget what it's called. Redo. That one's good. There are a lot of good ones. A lot of good ones. You're missing out on stories if you don't give them a chance, I think. And they're better than most American programming, at least the older ones for sure. Less of the talking points, less of the progressive messaging in there, which is what I want to avoid. I want to watch heroes and I want to watch a good story, bad guys and good guys, and seeing the progress of the story. Tower of God is also good. Uh, uh, I got something reincarnated into another world with my absurd cooking skill, something like that. That's funny, good adventure. I don't know if you guys are into it, but the Japanese, there are many artists who do they have extreme attention to detail drawing food stuff. And so that show has a lot of food related things in it, and it's a lot of cooking involved. And so if you're a fan of looking at really well drawn or illustrated um, food, that's great. That's a good one. I enjoy it. Uh, yeah, there are a lot of series that I like. I'm not good with names. I can't name many. That's fine. I wasn't naming very many either. I watched a lot. A lot. Watched a lot. Ah. Yeah. I didn't watch any of those Gundam ones, the ones with the big mech suits. Actually, I did watch one. It's called 86. It's about people who are from a lower class and they are sent out to the front lines in a war between humans and robots or another enemy. A nation which has robot soldiers, and these humans are in these suits or in these vehicles, and they go out and they're put on the front lines, and they are required to. They can't back out. If they do, I think they have like a chip or like a neck thing or whatever. If they decide not to go, it blows their head off. It kills them. So they are forced to go out onto these. They're forced to go out on these ending missions, and they go out there, and a girl, a lady, gets put in charge of this from the higher class. It's kind of like a caste system, like they have in India, but she's from the higher caste, and she's given this troop, which is kind of like a given. They're not going to succeed. They're not going to do anything, and she's put in control of them, and she develops relationships with them, and she knows that there's a high likelihood of them dying, but she, unlike others, isn't willing to just let them die. She's not just going to send them out there. She actually cares about them and wants them to win, even though her society has actually pretty much given up. Let's do an isekai where Angela was a grandma who died and reborn as a young mod on a bunch of nerds channels in another world. That sounds great. Sounds hilarious. That's great. An isekai is like an alternate world story, book, or show. And it is where someone is transported to another world, and comedy and or adventure ensues. Sounds great. There's something like that. There's actually a series. There's actually a series that I liked, which was sad, which was a grandmother gets, she dies, and she gets reborn as this little girl, and so she still has like all her grandma habits, like she likes sour plums, which is like a food that they did in older times in Japan, which are not like, kids don't like them because they're very tart. And but anyway, she like does things the old way, talks to people like an old woman and stuff. But she's in this little girl body, and she has all of her memories and stuff. Like she was counting and stuff and practicing their alphabet or whatever while she was still in the crib. And then when she gets caught, she pretends that she's just making gaga goo goo noises to her older brother and stuff. It's pretty funny, but she does that to look after her grandson, who she used to watch out for, who she was concerned about. And until she knows that her grandson was actually resorting to crime. And so she wants to see him become successful and do well in the world. And then after she sees him get to that point, things pass on, but it's sad and funny. I like sad and funny stuff. Not an anime, but Mist Night and Day is lol. She is old at day, young at night. Oh, okay. That sounds funny. Yeah. So I recommend things, shows, many shows. I have a whole list, which I will not go into. One of them is Wrong Way to Use Healing Magic, which I read the books on the series. That's pretty funny. Pretty good. Using healing magic. So if you think like your muscles tearing, when your muscles tear, they scar and then they come together, and then you build up strength through doing that. So when you put your body through stress, when you work your muscles, they tire out and everything. But if you can heal that immediately after, you can rapidly build up your stamina and your strength. And so wrong way to use healing powers is actually one of those stories. Pretty funny. Pretty funny. Cool story. Yeah. Mashal. Mashal is great. I read the series all the way through the end. It's funny. It's a guy who lives in a world of magic, and he is born without any magic, but he pretends to through the power of his muscles. He actually builds his muscles up to a point which is incredible, and he uses it against people who are magical. It's pretty funny. It's great. Yeah. Did you read The Dark Tower? I did. I didn't read the entire thing. Gorgeous art. Jay Lee. Amazing art. Beautiful. I did not read through it. It got a little dark for me. A little too dark. The Dark Tower got a little too dark for me. I did stop reading it after a point. But my brother was a huge fan of it. Has magic. It's called Sweet Buns. Cream Puffs. In the original comics. I don't know if you, yeah. But yeah. Little pastries with cream filled. Just finished the novels. You did? Are you talking about the graphic novels, or are you talking about the novels? I was looking at the graphic novels, and it was gorgeous. Jay Lee, he's amazing. I know he's well known in comics, but everybody can. Novels. Oh, okay. You're doing the real thing. You're actually doing the real thing. Phil, get on that Amish romance story stat. Oh man, it's great. That's great. That is a good. That's a good one to get on. I liked. Yeah, I liked it. It's complex. I stopped being able to predict. I think if that's the one I'm thinking of, Dark Tower. I stopped being able to predict where it was going, which is. I don't like that. I like to know exactly how things are happening, when things are happening. But yeah, Dark Tower was good. I am usually not a fan of Stephen King. And now I don't like him personally because I've seen some of the stuff he's doing, so it bugs me. But it's good. It's a good story. Dark. It's very dark. Dark Tower is dark. It's a crazy ride, very surreal. It is. I think if you're looking for a good story, I would recommend it. I actually would recommend it. I'm not going to read it, but I recommend it. It's good. Doesn't Pennywise destroy everything anyways? In Dark Tower, yes. Pennywise shows up and he destroys everything. That's what he does. Oh, that Pennywise, hopping dimensions, destroying realities which have nothing to do with demonic clowns or whatever beings. That is exactly what happens. That is totally what happens. Phil obviously wants to mislead you and tell you Pennywise doesn't show up at all in Dark Tower, and I'm just lying. I'm just pulling stuff out of my butt. I'm lying the crap out of everything right now. I'm just making everything up. But yes, Pennywise shows up. Even though you don't see him, he goes by a different name, and he looks differently, and he doesn't have the same power set as in It, as he does in It. But he definitely shows up in Dark Tower. Just doesn't look the same, doesn't have the same powers, and is named differently. But he's definitely Pennywise. You know who I'm talking about. Phil knows. Totally him. Definitely awesome one. I recommend. In fact, all of Stephen King's novels, it's all Pennywise. All of them are just Pennywise, straight Pennywise. All of it, all connected. Why is Turtles straight down the god of that universe? Ugh, lol. I don't know what you mean. I don't understand. I might be missing context. I might not have full knowledge, so I'm not really up on it. But again, all Pennywise. Anybody And even if Stephen King says it's not, just trust me, the person who has no association with the. Oh, okay. The person who has no association with any of Stephen King's novels, any of his stories. I know better. Trust me, it definitely is. Yeah. See the turtle of enormous girth. On his shell he holds the earth. Oh, okay. Yeah. Pratchett. Discworld you're talking about. I'm guessing. Pretty sure you're talking about Discworld. No, it's not Discworld. I wasn't into Discworld either, actually. I never gave it a shot. But from what his thought is slow but always kind. He holds us all within his mind. What a wonderful turtle he is. He's a shell of a guy. I apologize. He shall protect you, shall keep you. What a wonderful turtle that is. There was video where the turtles fought Pennywise. Oh, I see. Oh, aso. I understand. Hi. Arigato. Arigato gozaimasu for the clarification. Namaste. Yeah. I didn't read the Discworld series. That must be the mix-up in my mind. Could be. You could be lying, or it could actually be a mix-up, and I would understand either. I would understand it both ways. I myself am confused. Like sometimes DC and Marvel, I do mix them up a little bit sometimes. On his back, all vows are made. He sees the truth, but may not said. On his back, all vows are made. He sees the truth, but may not said. He loves the land and loves the sea, and even loves a child like me. Oh, that is great. What a wonderful turtle. It's great. Lovely. I would imagine that people on Discworld would be like bacteria, like bacteria on his back. He'd be like, oh, gross. I got this growth here. I got an outbreak of humans on my hind corners right here, right above my right flipper, my right back flipper. Death is hilarious from what I know of Discworld, or one of the deaths is hilarious. The Post Office is the only good Pratchett book. I have not read that. I don't know what that is. His name is Maturin, and is basically a god in King's Dark Tower multiverse. Oh, I see. Thank you for the clarification, Phil Diaz. Thank you. And awesome one. Appreciate it. I do not know. I did not know that. Did not know of the connection. That makes sense. I think if anybody's interested, there's a card game which is out called Super Fight. I highly recommend it, especially for geeks. Like anybody who reads geeky content or whatever, it is good fun. Not the title, but the subject. Cool. Super Fight is awesome, and I believe Mario can defeat everyone. Pretty much everyone. If you want a cheat character, it's Mario from Mario Brothers or Super Smash Brothers. He will defeat anyone. He can and will defeat anyone because he's designed to. Although I lost that. I don't know how. Mario can literally defeat anybody. That's the point. You make a Mario game, he's supposed to be able to defeat any and all enemies that are on the screen. And he doesn't, and that is not possible because he's Mario. So by virtue of him being in a place, he therefore has the ability to defeat said being or entity. So it doesn't make sense. He would win, in my opinion. I don't, yeah. Can Cran defeat Sumo on seed oil? I can defeat Sumo on dirt as well. I can defeat Sumo in water. Yeah. Depending. Is Sumo blindfolded with his hands and arms tied behind his back? Both of them, both, all four, his hands and arms. And will he be given some kind of some kind of anesthetic? I believe I would be able to take Sumo at that moment. Sure bet. I mean, I'd totally kick his butt. It'd be great. Take any and all bets. I would win. Easy. Cinch. You can even tell Sumo that. I would totally kick his butt if he was knocked out, blindfolded, and incapacitated. I would for sure beat him. That'd be easy. You would have to be those things first, though. And then I would cream his clock. Cream his clock. Cream his corn. I forget what the saying is. Yeah. Yeah, I haven't read that. I did read. When did you stop wearing the Kramer suit for the show? Who are you talking about? Who are you talking about? Are you talking about me? I am not Kramer. I am not Kramer. I'm not Kramer. I cranberry lungers. Cranberry, not Kramer. Yes. Yeah. I have I did I have read a lot of comics, watched a lot of shows, animated shows, non-animated shows, movies. Yeah. So I've also read the Earthboy Jacobus, that comic by Doug TenNapel, which I recommend. Existential Crisis in Man. Which has to do with going to an alternate dimension. Again, Earthboy Jacobus. It's a really good series, or a really good book. I recommend it. He also did Cardboard, which is also a good like junior reader thing. Young, what are they called? It's not teen, but it's not teen, but older than like grade school. Something like YA, young adult comic series, and involves sentient cardboard, which is really good. It's a good book. Phil found cardboard in his comic shop. Phil doesn't need to find. Phil is, yeah, he's inundated with cardboard. I'd imagine actually. Swamped in cardboard. Yeah. Any other questions? Yeah. So that's it. This is an Ask Me Anything video, mostly talking about comics and shows and stuff. But I just felt like adding another video to my channel because I felt guilty about not putting anything up. And Awesome One's already preempting. He's already like, I'm outie. See ya. Ciao. And Angela's going on. Can't wait for the 1,000 celebration. Yes, exactly. 1,000 hours of streaming. That's what you're talking about, right? 1,000. Yeah. No. But yeah, I just felt like putting something up because I felt guilty about not putting anything up, especially for the amount of subscribers. Just felt obligated. People were bugging me about it. So I'm doing this video. Coffee dog coffee. Yes. Burning dogs and steeping them in coffee or tea. That's a good idea. I understand. And that's a good choice. Yeah, so I'm just putting this up. Thanks to everybody for joining. I am gonna leave now in a few seconds, but thank you for everyone for joining. I appreciate you guys talking and chatting, saying hi, and I hope you all have a good night. God bless. Have a good one. I appreciate it. Now you know a little bit more about my comic, film, and television stuff. I've been cooking, so I've been listening mostly Cheers. I'm glad you're listening to your Cheers mostly. That sounds wonderful. You're Angela. That's great. Have a good night, everybody. I appreciate it. Appreciate everybody stopping in. Awesome one. Angela Curry, Phil, Mark's Music Obsession, I forget. Morgana, exclamation point. Citizen Ronan. Yeah, everybody who stopped in, I appreciate you guys. I appreciate y'all. And I hope you have a good night. Angela's cooking collard greens. It's laborious. Angela, I don't think they're called collard greens because that's offensive. It actually be colored greens. That's less offensive. Yeah. So don't say that. Don't toss around the collard greens around many people. I am greatly offended. I am a black Jamaican man, and I take great offense, as you can see. Black Jamaican albino man. So I'm differently abled because I'm albino, and yeah, I because what? Great, good job. I applaud you. That's a wonderful thing. Good job, Angela. I'm very happy you're white. Yeah, that's great. Um, uh, it ain't easy being white. It ain't easy being brown. So much pressure to be bright. I got children, it's all over town. Sometimes it's good. Yeah. I, by the way, do not like grits. I do like fried chicken. I do like watermelon, and I do like Kool-Aid. Again, it's just, I think everybody does. That's the thing. Everybody loves those. All right. No biscuits. Thanks again, everybody. Ciao. Good night. Do well. And I might do another baby steps. Baby steps. Baby steps. Ciao. All right. I'll see you, everybody. Thanks again. God bless. See you. Bye. Good night.